MPC3, Native Instruments, collaboration on the O.T.G, MPC1 Black. Everybody says, is it slow? Is it worth it? You got to hook it up to the network. You got to plug it in with the cord, all of this other stuff. How is the process? So the process was a little crazy. You know, the Native Instruments stuff is pretty big, so make sure you got some space. But once you get it on there, let's just check it out. What's going on, guys? It's your brother O.T.G. The O.T.G's for Overtime Grind. Hardly seen, but I'm always around. And today I got my O.G MPC1, the first one, the first set of the black ones that they released. I decided, throw that MPC3 on there because the black on black looks great. And what do you know? We got Native Instruments plugins to plug in on there. They got all this cool stuff and all these stats that I'm sure the other videos have talked about, and you could go check them out. But you know how I do, man. We're getting right into it. So, first preset, first sound. Let's go straight to notes mode. Let's go hop in our progressions. Check the link in the description. Get yourself right. Stimmy pack. Bunch of progressions I got on there. We're going to go through and see what kind of sounds we can come up with that first sound. See if we can get a pad started and get some kind of feel going and not spend 2 hours looking for a sound. I like to just create my own samples. That's the dope thing with having Native Instruments in there. You can sometimes spend hours looking for a sample, and in the end, after you spend hours producing, you realize you're just looking for a pad or electric piano or a bass or something playing together, some trumpets or some shit playing together, and you can really just make it on your own, especially if your intention is just to speed it up, chop it, and distort it. And so, once you come to that realization, that's a whole nother conversation. Right now, we have Analog Dreams open right now. We got pad progressions going. Let's check it out. As you can see, it runs pretty good on my MPC1. I still believe the MPC1 is the best MPC. I know everybody thinks because it's cheap, it can't be good, but man, I think it's the best. It's truest to the old form factor. The 5 buttons, all the things you need, super dope. That's why I have it just on the table right now. So right now I'm moving, that gives you, it changes a bunch of, it's a macro essentially, so it changes a bunch of parameters at one time. We go out, we turn on our automation, and we come back over and let's just automate some sweeps, just to give that sound some movement, you know what I mean? I think I have this at about 150 something BPM, 155 BPM, 8 bars. For those who need to know, 154 it looks like. If you guys watch my videos a lot, most of the time I don't set the BPM. I just kind of tap it out and go with it. But, if you're trying to make a specific type of beat and the BPM it is, hop in there. So right now I'm going to throw an effect on there. I'm going to throw an EQ. My screen does what it does with the EQ. One day we'll get it right, but today's not the day. Right now we're just tapping and turning up different parts of the frequency so it could shine through. I could have done that from inside of the plugin, but the plugin already has some automation going on. And I don't know if it's going to automate that or not, and I don't really feel like going to look. So, I don't feel like if that's already affected or not by what we automated. So, I just threw an effect on it. So, right now we got a drum kit. I'm holding the note repeat button. I know that you could double tap it and it'll stay on, but I like to hold it. I don't know. To each their own. Also, if you notice, I don't have full level or half level on, so that way you can get some variations with your hi-hats as you play them. You check out the short that I did. You can fix your sensitivity on your pads. I meant to say that, but I don't think I did, but that's something that you should do. So far, so good. MPC3 is running well. Only thing I don't really care for is the drum tracks. But, you know, it's a major change from the old MPC way of life that we've known for all of these years. But for the most part, they've kept it, and the things that they've added definitely add value and help this be a long-lasting tool into the future. So many amazing things like stems and now these different plugins and having full instruments. I remember when you could only get key groups back in my day. Most important screen, program edit, track edit. It's one of the most important menus on the MPC in my humble opinion. This is just some random drum kit. I think this kit came with the MPC. It's one of them. I like to just pick random drum kits because then you find different kind of drum sounds and use different combinations than what you would regularly use. I don't really care for the samples. If I want to get rid of them, I'll erase them. I'll make a video, show you how to do that. Got a bunch of different stuff that I'm making. You guys see it. If you want to stay tapped in, check out the mailing list. Support the store. That's how you support me. Stepping it up this year. Just more videos, man. Faster pace. So check it out. Right now I'm using the tap tempo to build drum flams or like a drum build up, ghost notes in the back. Playing with the velocity, so you know, gives it that feel. Right now I'm changing the volumes of the hi-hats and using track edit, screen 2 to pan. And so I still was recording all of that automation in. So all of those moves that I made on the knobs or on the faders and things are still there. And that's cool because now we'll just go to the next level and turn down the volume. That's why I always do it from sample screen 2, because then if you automate or do anything like that, you have another layer to turn your volume down. It's like a trim. And then, you know, you could keep your automation and not have to go through the nightmare of erasing it to redo it again. Do some housekeeping, name our track. Let's just add another plug-in. Let's just put it under the test. Let's just go and see how it go. Keep going and see how it go. Let's see. Let's use its cloud supply. Let's go ahead and see what that's talking about. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Alright, we're in Native Instruments Cloud Supply. We got it up on the screen. I like the effects and the way that they look. I always have a crazy thought process with how I think about it. Like, if this was the last update ever, would I be okay with having my MPC stuck like this? until the end of time. And so 90% of the time with a lot of the things they've been doing, I'm thankful for it, because like right now, we show and prove how good the MPC is without any other hardware. You know, the MPC one with the smaller pads, but the 5 extra buttons, you can see how fast you go in and out. I purposely left the outputs at the top so you can see that there is a USB hook to it, so it is hooked to a USB MIDI hub. I do have audio inputs going into it. You can run it just how I run everything else, you know. Utilize your one MIDI input or output in the back and then run everything else via USB. You know, so all of the options are still the same, but for a lot of people, they just have straight MPC. And if you got a skinny MPC and you don't have any drums and you haven't checked out the store yet, and when it's stocked up and got right with your brother, then you might just have the plugins in MPC3. Well, you could get it done with just what's in the stock, bro. You definitely can. It's cool to have a fancy keyboard, but you don't need a keyboard, bro. Get you some chord progressions, understand what the chord sets are, understand when to switch between chord progressions to notes mode to chromatic mode, understand your volumes, your velocities. You can play cool things right on the pads. Matter of fact, at some point we'll just do some simple piano riffs and add it in there and watch how it adds to the complexity of what we got going on. What I'm doing is auditioning just to see or hear how it sounds. Sometimes with certain synths, I like to just add them in the background to create motion. I also wanted to show just how sensitive and how clear it is, you know. Let's go find something else though. I want some kind of pluck to kind of give it a back and forth type of feel. You know, a lot of the other emotion and things, I'm trying to decide right now, do I want to do 2 sequences or more? Do I want to stick to the 1 sequence method and can I do all of the changes that I want to do to just plan the mutes? And more specifically, do I want to have multiple drum patterns? Most of the time, that's how I decide if I want to have more than 1 sequence. It just depends if I want to have more than 1 drum pattern. Let's go ahead and add that in there now. And you can see, so we're playing 4 notes off the pads. It's really about volume and where you place it. And stop turning on your full level. You know what I mean? Make sure you stay to the end. Right now we're running it down with MPC3. We're utilizing our second native instruments plug-in. And it's stable, man. It's running good. So I don't know what the world is talking about and all the issues they had. I had some, it's a little slow motion. I didn't know I got a 300 gigabyte or 400 gigabyte SD card in my MPC-1, and I didn't know I was running out of space. I had about 20 gig, and I thought that was enough space. It wasn't enough space, so I had to make space and come back and kind of mess with that little whole ordeal. But anytime I have to do something like that, I just think about be responsible and back up my beats. So I did that. It gave me an opportunity to back up my beats to the computer when I made space on the SD. Right now we're inside the plugin. This is the plugin and the reverb and the delay on the Cloud Supply plugin. Never forget that you have all those tabs at the bottom of your plugin window. That is where you have a lot of effects. So you don't necessarily need to add effects. And if you do, just think about what you're going to add, because, you could stack effects now. Hashtag get to know your MPC. Alright, now I'm going to add some granulator on there. That way it can sound kind of dreamy and floaty in the background. There we go. See, it's kind of wavy. It's kind of wavy. I like that. We building. We in the kitchen cooking right now. Might not be your type of food, but for the people who like it, you already know. Chef O.T.G, we get into it. From scratch. Let's go ahead and add the drums in. Good old Sub Factory. One of the better plugins, one of the best. I probably use it every beat. You know what I mean? You want an 808 and something to cut through the mix. Not have to do a bunch of side chaining. Not a bunch of fighting for frequencies. You know what I mean? Go ahead, check out that Sub Factory. At some point this year, I'm going to dump all these beats into the computer in a more traditional bounced out, tracked out way. I'll show you how to mix them. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But then we'll also get into how these plugins sound when we're using them inside of Ableton Live. That bass, so what we're gonna do is mess with the level some. We might go in there and mess with the velocity. Let's go do that. So we got a couple notes that's off. So, perfect time, you can see it. You can either nudge them and try to get them right, or you could select them and cut them. That's better than trying to touch them and delete them. You know what I mean? So you could select it. See right there, he's trying to maneuver it and get it right. I don't like to stop the music, so you could tell from this whole video, once we start, I keep it going. I try to do everything in real time while we moving. Also, I don't like to juggle the music either, so if we miss it, I'll make my change, do what I'm going to do, and wait for it to play back around. I accidentally cut two, so we're going to undo. Select the one, hit shift, and hit cut. Probably want to get rid but we're going to listen to it one more time. But shift and cut is a lifesaver. It's an efficiency tip that will definitely speed up your process when editing notes. Shift, cut, boom. Leave in the comments any other tips that you might know that might speed it up. Efficiency tips. You know, we building a community over here. This is my tool of choice. So whether it was bad, whether it was terrible, we was going to use it because MPC is my tool of choice. I have a lot of other gear and I use it too, but my main thing to get the job done are my MPCs, you know what I mean? So let's build our community. You know, if you're going to be a lifetime MPC user, like I'm a lifetime MPC user, then share some tips in the comments with your fellow brothers and sisters. Right now I'm messing around with the different velocities. Trying to think ahead with certain things that I might want to do. You know, when I turn the bass off at different places, you know, when I'm muting it, if I'm muting it on different notes, it's going to have different tails. They're slightly a little bit different in size and length. You know what I mean? They come on at different parts at different velocities. So all these things lend to taking away the roboticness or the stiffness, because right now I haven't shifted anything. We don't have any swing. The only thing that is providing the swing is the actual hi-hats. So far, so good, you know. Now we're going to add a piano in. I mean, MPC3's holding up. We got 2 native instruments plugins. We have 1 sub-factory plugin. We're about to add the keys, which is extremely heavy in the memory. We don't have no keyboard. We don't have nothing extra. We just have our OG MPC1 with the new MPC3 and Native Instruments collaboration official standalone. Super fire. I like it, man. I like 2.15. I always have one of my MPCs on 2.15 right now. I felt like it was best to put the retro on 2.15 because it's got the retro look. It can have the retro workflow to it, you know what I mean? And that's how we can get it popping on there. And if you want those videos, and if a lot of people stay there, we could definitely get it going there, because there's a whole different workflow over there to get things done. On this workflow for just kind of creating from scratch and getting it going, it's dope. It's dope. And if you want to, you could adapt this workflow on 2.15 and prepare yourself for 3. Because really the only major difference is how tracks, that's what's going to affect your life immediately, is how tracks are handled. Everybody has their ways of how they did it before, but now that's one of the major changes, and automation is the main focus. You gotta click the automation button on and off. It's a lot more powerful than before. Some people use that already, other people didn't. But you know what I mean, man. It's been like 2 years, 3 years we've been on the MPC1 and the Live 2 and the Force SP404. First lab is still right here. I had an old OP1, we got OP1 fill. TR6S is right here. The Boss 2 RC202 is right here. I got a bunch of new gear, the seat track and other things, but I haven't brought it in there yet. You know why? Because we're producers, baby. This is what we do. We're true to our instruments. It takes time to learn them. It takes time to get how to use them. It takes time to adapt the workflows and updates. So give yourself time, guys. Make sure you give yourself time. Oh, we ran out of memory adding the strings. Let's go ahead and play them in there. The That means we taxed it out, we ran it out of memory. But again, just have patience with yourself, guys. It's not over. If you download MPC3 and you want to get started, it runs super good. You know, be patient, take the time to install it properly and make sure everything updates. Make sure you have space on your SD card. You know, getting there made beats how you know. This was the first beat that I used on the MPC1. It's super stable. I did one yesterday on the live too. You can check that out. Check out the 10 tips. You know, if you're still on 2.15, bro, that's okay too. It's people on MPC 60s, 2000s, 2000 XL, 3000, 4000, 5000. It's all kinds of MPCs in the world on all kinds of different OSs. Stick to the OS that makes you happy, that helps you get the beats done. You know, check out the O.T.G. MPC Stimmy Pack. It's a lot of dope things in there to help you get your music journey started or to boost it. And we here, bro. MPC3 native instruments. I like what you did. Run super stable. I see it in my near future. Keep doing what you're doing. We're gonna keep building with it. Big O.T.G.